So I'm going to do a short introduction to the 3 type 9 subtypes. So the self-preservation 9 is a 9 that is more oriented toward comfort and routine. Each of the 3 type 9 subtypes merges with something to distract themselves from their own sense of being or the pain of not being in touch with their own sense of being. But they merge with 3 different things. The self-preservation 9 merges with physical comforts and routines. So it's a little bit like finding comfort rather than, finding love and support. They kind of give up on that unconsciously. So the self-preservation 9 is a 9 that tends to be pretty rooted and grounded, but they ground themselves through having regular rituals and routines. And they usually have some sort of comfortable activity that they do, like on a daily basis. It can be reading or watching television or crossword puzzles or taking a walk. But they tend to ground themselves by their own sort of comfort physical activities. Also, the self-preservation 9, even though they also merge and blend with others, is a 9 that tends to be more comfortable being on their own. They kind of do their own thing a little bit more. They can be harder to move. If they sense that you're trying to pressure them into something, they can be very stubborn and really dig their heels in and not move in response to not being pushed around. So they can even have a bit of an 8-ish energy. Their anger can be more present and almost more felt by the people around them, but as a kind of stubbornness or being hard to move, or I'm not going to do something just because you're pressuring me or telling me I should do it. They tend to have a kind of strength or power that is quiet, not as out there as, say, a type 8's power, but is sort of more like a mountain is powerful. It's a little bit like a sense of groundedness, and they tend to have kind of a wry sense of humor, but can be very focused on activating through maintaining comfort and avoiding discomfort, but especially through doing things in regularized ways that work for them. The social 9 is a 9 that merges with groups, and this is the counter type of the 3 9s, and it's a 9 that kind of goes against sloth through being extremely active, doing a lot. They can be workaholics, second only to type 3 as the biggest workaholics on the Enneagram. So they tend to stay in motion. They do a lot for the groups and the communities or the family or the team that they may be supporting. And unconsciously, working on behalf of a group is a kind of a way to try to earn belonging to the group, because there is deeper down in the social 9 the sense of I don't belong and I want to work hard to support others so that I can earn a sense of belonging. But of course, because this is a personality ego game, the social 9 never really feels like they belong, and they have a hard time putting themselves in the picture. They tend to be very outgoing and friendly and congenial. They tend to be good leaders, good mediators. Again, a kind of a high energy, so sometimes they get mistyped as 2s or 3s. But someone who is more unselfish, there's not pride there. They tend to have an air of humility about them, which is why they make really good leaders, and sometimes people draft them into leadership positions. But someone who's very sort of concerned with harmonizing the group, everyone getting along, and will do a lot without letting people show and they'll do a lot for others without letting people see their stress. They will work very hard to make sure everybody's getting along and doing well without letting people know how hard they're working to make that happen. And of course, not always putting themselves in the picture to get the recognition, because they can be a bit shy about recognition. Now, the sexual 9 is the 9 that probably merges the most. And it's someone who distracts themselves from getting in touch with their own sense of being by merging with a partner or other individuals. So it can be a partner, it can be a best friend, it can be a child or a parent, but usually one person at a time, and there's a lot of merger with that person such that there's a sense of having no boundaries between them. And the sexual 9 will sometimes say they don't know where the line is between them and the other person, and that they can take on the feelings, thoughts, attitudes, opinions of that other person. Or if they know that they think something different than that other person, they may not say it if they register that. A lot of times it's just really even hard for them to know what their own opinion is, what their own feeling is, or their own sense of purpose. So it's almost like someone who finds a sense of purpose in another. But of course, merging with another person really isn't connection or relationship, it's more erasure. So it's like 9s can tend to erase themselves in different situations, and the sexual 9 can erase themselves in a relationship such that one person plus one person equals one person because they're not connected to themselves. And so the sexual 9 can need to find ways to gain a sense of separation, to find themselves so that they don't merge so much, because sometimes they can even not register when they're not being treated well because they see so much the other person's perspective and have a harder time seeing their own. So those are the 3 type 9 subtypes, and now you can watch the videos that go along with it to see the 9 speaking for themselves.